Hello, everybody. Hi, baby. Welcome
Baby.
to episode 17 of Through the Mists. If you're watching live, it's been a minute, but we're glad to be here. Before we dive in, does anyone have anything they want to announce? Any upcoming fun that they are releasing on the interwebs? Nothing? Alright, I do have a thing for Pathfinder coming out here in the near future. It was actually supposed to be out 2 weeks ago today, and I'm in school, and school just keeps sucking my brain out. So, keep an eye out for that. One day it'll come out. A quick recap of the last couple of episodes. You're all in a city called Paradon, which is surrounded by these thick mists that you were walking through and ended up here. After some strange interactions with the people of the city, they didn't really seem to appreciate your dress. Like, not your dress, but like the way you were dressed. And so some of the people were kind of being standoffish or outright rude. But you managed to find out that essentially this place is kind of, we'll say, puritanical in its dress code. And so I do know Lilith had helped a lady that you'd met, Helvetica. She's a very large woman, kind of like Lilith, very tall, and her clothing had started to degrade away, and Lilith had helped her make a new corset type covering for her stomach. But Lyra's walking around midriff bare, sticking it to the system. Other than that, you kind of had looked around trying to figure out what was going on, and Twiggy and Dizzy had tried to get up into the walled area called King's Quarter, which is kind of where the nobles live and such. Having done that at night and with the gates closed, you had caused a ruckus, setting the alarm off. The guards were trying to shoot Twiggy out of the air. Dizzy snuck off. Twiggy flew over the wall into a house. Dizzy managed to find a place to climb over the wall, snuck in looking for Twiggy. Lilith and Lyra had realized that alarm was probably caused by their friends, and so you had gone from the dock district up to the walled area trying to find them. And about that time, the gate had opened, and a guard captain that you had actually met earlier in the day that had been very rude to you came out and was oddly nice to you, much different than what you had experienced before, and he invited you in. Lyra and Lilith followed, and shortly thereafter, the person took Lyra and Lilith away from the guards that were walking down the main thoroughfare. And I believe at that time, Dizzy had found you all. And as that had happened, this fellow's face changed into a face you didn't recognize, but he introduced himself as Alphonse Calvet. He said he is... and right after that, the actual guard captain had come around the corner and seen you all, glared at Lyra's midriff, glared at everyone, realized the magistrate was standing there, and the magistrate essentially gave the captain his word that you were there on his authority. The captain didn't seem very excited about this. However, there's not much he could do, and so he left you all alone. You went back and got Twiggy from the house he was hiding in, and then headed off with the magistrate to his small manse. Lyra, looks like there's something I'm forgetting. Am I forgetting something? Okay.
I was distracted by baby.
Nice. Along the way, some shadowy figures had been following you, and you managed to get to the manse and inside its guarded premises before anything happened. You were fed, you were given rooms with comfortable beds, and I believe the next morning, I could be wrong on that, you might have slept after talking to Alphonse, but Alphonse had explained to you all that he was a shape changer and that his people have been a part of Paradon for a long time, many, many years, decades, generations. And there was another race of shape changers known as hang on, it's their Jackalwares. These Jackalwares had been imprisoned because they were rather chaotic, like to kill people, and a group of adventurers long ago had imprisoned them within a magical trap, and there was an artifact that kept that trap active. Apparently, recently, murders had picked up. Murders in the city aren't an odd occurrence, but there has definitely been an increase in the number of them, and Alphonse had found that the artifact that kept the Jackalwares imprisoned had been taken, releasing these shape changers back into the populace, and now he believes that they are trying to start some kind of interspecies dilemma, we'll call it that, between the doppelgangers and the Jackalwares by essentially killing off the humans. And some other doppelgangers had been killed so far. You'd stayed the night at the manse, woke up in the morning to breakfast. Dizzy was looking horrid. There was something moving beneath his skin. And I believe around that time you realized that, remembering back to the house that you had appeared in when the mists enveloped you, at some point you had been subject to a large amount of maggots being vomited upon you by a well, because these things happen. And therefore, some kind of disease must have been placed upon you. So Lilith had cured that disease. Dizzy feels much better now. However, Lyra didn't really sleep well throughout the night. And so when Lilith came to let Lyra know that the group was leaving to go find Helvetica and catch up with her, Lyra was just like, go away, and stayed at the manse in bed. Therefore, separating the party as Dizzy, Lilith, and Twiggy continued back into the Blackchapel Quarter and to Helvetica's large chapel school building. Heading inside, Helvetica was glad to see you. She was worried when you didn't return last night, and you explained the situation to her. While talking to her, though, the door opened, and that same captain that you keep running into walked in with a couple of guards, and you can see more guards standing outside. Kind of smugly, he looked at all of you, and I don't believe he knows your name, Dizzy, but he had inferred that you were going to go with them because you had been... a witness had claimed to see you at the scene of a murder, so you're being arrested for murder. And that's where we ended. However, we're going to start with Lyra. So Lyra, I need you to make a charisma saving throw for me.
Charisma saving throw.
I'm sure it'll start fine.
It's great. You know that absolutely plus 0, 10 charisma
Right.
is just really fantastic for Lyra. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. That didn't push. It's a 2?
A 2. Amazing. Yeah. So your sleep throughout the night is terrible. You actually have some very vivid dreams of not only being lost in the mists and, you know, like running through them, but something is chasing you, and you every so often you'll hear like a loud crack, like this thunderous boom that rings out throughout the mists, and you see like these trees that don't look familiar, that kind of gnarled and twisted as you run through them, and then they disappear into the mist. But you get the feeling you're in some kind of forest or something, and there's some kind of hunter behind you. And no matter how much you feel like in the lucid moments of the dream where you're like, why don't I just turn around and face this or something, you just can't seem to control the dream. And so you continue running through these trees and leaping over logs, and there's just something hunting you. And so when Lilith wakes you in the morning, it doesn't feel like you really slept at all. You do get the effects of your rest. However, you just kind of feel cruddy, like kind of emotionally sapped, if that makes sense. And so you're just like, I just want to stay in bed. And so you shrug off Lilith. Lilith brought some broth for you to have. You did kind of drink a little excessively last night, and so
as usual.
she, knowing that the broth might help, Lilith left it on the table next to you. So it's not long after Lilith left that you're just like unable to get back to sleep, and so you sit up and you kind of look around the room. Dull sunlight is streaming in through the slits in the curtains, because you had closed the curtains. So just it's not super well lit in the room, but it's well enough for you to see without your dark vision. Like you can see color and such.
Right.
And so you can kind of look at the broth. It looks kind of like beef broth or something. It smells all right, but then you hear voices, and they sound familiar. One's definitely Alphonse. They're talking. Their conversation seems to be getting louder.
Okay. Oh, look at the broth. And just kind of like, Lyra just like frowns at it, like she leaves it be. And then since the voices are getting louder, she gets out of bed, gets dressed, everything like that, and she'll go to her door and just kind of like look out in it, like not like noticeably like I'm awake,
Right.
but just kind of like see if she can hear them. If they're they're getting louder. She's assuming they're coming closer to her, and she's gonna kind of wait to see if they're coming actually to her or like just going past.
Gotcha. So are you just listening, or are you gonna like crack the door open?
she's just like listening a little bit. She honestly, it's probably already cracked like a little bit. She's like super. It's a strange place. She's not gonna lock herself in a room because she might be locked in if she does. So it's probably already like cracked. Just like
Why don't you? I won't have you do a stealth roll. It's not that.
Okay.
But go ahead and do a perception check.
Okay.
And it's not coming through on roll 20, so just let me know what you get.
Okay.
Oh, I lied. There it is.
There we go.
Technology. You're listening, and you realize that Alphonse is speaking with Captain Berengar, who's the fellow that you keep running into.
Okay.
They're having kind of a heated discussion, and with that roll, you do hear, you make out their conversation. Essentially, Berengar is talking with Alphonse about you and the group. He's kind of grilling Alphonse about the work that you're all doing for him, and whether or not you were all inside the house all night once you got there, or if you were seen leaving at all. But Alphonse is being very supportive. He's like, no, the entire group of them were here all night long, and they would not have been able to leave without the notice of the guards and the staff. In fact, the staff was hanging out with them for quite some time last night.
Okay. So Lyra's gonna kind of hear this and like, this guy, she's so sick and tired of this guy. So, she'll just kind of like nudge her door open with her foot and she just like is leaning in the doorway, like just like listening. Just now very clearly listening to them with just like a very bemused look on her face, like,
So you're on like the second floor, and as the door
okay,
opens up, there is a walkway that goes off to left and right, and then there's a
okay,
banister in front of you, and
okay,
over the banister you can see on the lower floor, Alphonse and Berengar are standing just in from the main door,
okay,
and Alphonse actually looks fairly relaxed,
okay,
although uh, his voice is definitely commanding. Like, he doesn't seem like he's trying to intimidate the other fellow.
right.
And Berengar actually also seems fairly relaxed, probably the most relaxed you've seen him, um,
Interesting.
as himself rather than Alphonse pretending to be him.
Right,
Um,
right.
Almost like he knows Alphonse at least somewhat, and is just trying to like converse with him as far as finding out information about you all.
Okay,
Let's do a. I'm just gonna roll a perception check for
sure.
the captain there. Perception. With his 9, he doesn't notice you up there.
Okay. Claire's gonna kind of walk to the edge of the banister. She's not really gonna go down, but she'll walk to the edge and she'll speak. She'll say something. She's not gonna super. In this moment, she doesn't feel the need to like stealth around. I mean, what's the point? They're standing in the open anyways, right? It's not like they're like locked in magistrate's office or anything like that. Like they're having a conversation by a doorway.
Right.
Um, so she leans against the banister and is just kind of like, "You are so curious about us. It's almost like you like us or something."
Um, Both of them turn to look at you, and as the captain's mouth opens, Alphonse is like, "Oh, you're awake! Splendid! May I have anyone? May I have one of my servants bring you anything?"
Uh, Claire's, kind of like shrugs and is like, "Eh, she's all right for the moment."
Um, the captain kind of looks at Alphonse almost with a glare, but you actually do me a favor and do a
Hmm.
insight check.
Okay.
You're not really sure what the situation is between the two of them, but
Right.
you can definitely tell that Berengar doesn't treat the magistrate the way he has treated you all. Um,
Right.
and after Alphonse stops speaking, he looks up at you and he's like, "So your friends left. Do you know how long ago?" And Alphonse is like,
Uh,
"I've already told you they left maybe 20 minutes ago." "Of course, magistrate. Sorry, I was just verifying the facts." And then he looks at you like he's still expecting an answer.
Lara just goes right at the magistrate, like,
Hmm.
what he said.
And
Like,
your other elven friend, they were here all night with you. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Are you? Let's do a persuasion check.
Okay.
Um, he like kind of squints his eyes at you like he's gauging your words. Then he nods. "Do you know that a fellow that looks exactly or was described exactly as your friend is? And trust me, we don't have many people that look like you all in the city. Was seen last night at the scene of a murder."
Remind me out of character, the fact that there are shapeshifters within the city a widely known fact, or is it something that they hide that's out of character? Is that something we know in character?
Yeah, so Alphonse explained to you all that the doppelgangers are
Mm-hmm.
a. I don't want to say that they're an accepted evil, because they're not necessarily evil,
Right.
but they're
Right.
when their existence came out, like the truth of their existence
Right.
came out, it caused a lot of issues. But that was some time ago, and they have never tried to. Essentially, they have their faction issues
Okay.
between
Okay.
themselves, but
Okay.
they haven't actively been against the city, and so the city as a whole just kind of pretends they don't exist, but knows they're
Okay.
there. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So, yes.
Okay.
So Ben, there's does you know that your friend was stated and just described exactly like him and scene of a murder? Lara goes, do you know that there are shapeshifters wandering throughout your entire city who can look like anybody they want to?
This may be true, but you all entered the city yesterday. It's unlikely that you've been around one long enough for them to take their shape.
Lara just like shakes her head in disbelief. She's like, Dizzy wouldn't. Dizzy was here all night. Don't worry about it. Like she's not that don't worry about it, but it's just like, come on, dude.
When
Like,
you do say the thing about the shapeshifters, you do notice a glance from Alphonse as he looks at the captain with this like "I told you" kind of look. Um, Alphonse says, "Just a moment, Captain. Let me see to my guest." And he walks forward to the bottom of the staircase. He's like, "Are you going to join your friends today?"
I was planning on it. Yes.
They did say that if you didn't find the note that is next to your bed, that to let you know that they have gone to find Mistress Helvetica.
Understood. And then she'll kind of, look at Ranger and be like, if there's nothing else. And she just like starts to leave. She's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm done with you. Thank you.
The captain
She's
kind of
dismissing
watches you
herself.
for a moment, but other than that, he doesn't say anything. And as you leave the room and close the door, you do hear the conversation start back up.
Yeah. Olyra, by the way, when she passes gives him a very elaborate, too elaborate of a goodbye now.
Yeah, he kind of like looks in your direction, nods, and then goes back to looking at Alphonse, like he's waiting for you to leave, and he's trying not to look at your midriff.
Lara loves riling these people up. It's dangerous. It's dangerous how much she loves riling these people up. All right, yeah, Lyra's gonna, when she hears the conversation start again, she is gonna like linger briefly, but if it's nothing of like note or importance, she's gonna go off to find everybody else.
Okay, go ahead and make another perception check.
Sure.
So you linger there for a moment. There are a couple of guards standing outside. There's like a little entryway that you've stepped into with an open doorway on the outside, essentially like a little arch. And they're standing outside of that. But they do kind of like turn their heads as the door opens, so they know you're there. You get the feeling that like hanging out for too long would be awkward. And so
she's kind of like adjusting herself, like,
right.
Trying to make it look natural.
You listen for like a couple of moments, and after you leave, they begin speaking, and you hear the captain say, you really need to watch out for yourself. If these people are wrapped up in some dark doings, then you don't want that to come down on your house. And then Alphonse begins to talk, and you can hear them essentially moving further away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, Lyra's she won't linger long. She's gonna head off to find the others.
Okay. So you're gonna head back down to the Blackchapel sector and
Correct.
to where Helvetica lives? All right.
Yeah.
So while that happens, Dizzy, Lilith, and Twiggy, you're standing inside the old dilapidated church that has been redone, kind of, into a school by Helvetica. You're facing the captain of the guard that you've met previously, Captain Berengar, and two of his guard. However, you do see standing outside the slightly open door, there are two more, and you could hear people kind of talking further out, like there might be others as well. Dizzy, you've just been charged with murder. What do you do?
I have.
You know what? This seems typical. It's typical because we're new. The hospitality here is absolutely horrendous. So they obviously have some kind of immediate discrimination. And then here we are. All we're trying to do is we're trying to teach the children good habits, positive ways to live their lives. And look what happens. They come in, and they
For the
want to go
show.
ahead and accuse you of murder. Ridiculous. We need to talk to your people. This is not okay.
So Lilith is going off. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna say I did do it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Twiggy, are you doing anything?
I don't know what all this murder business is about, but I'm going to definitely be on I'm running. I totally lost the name. The cleric. I'm going to be on her shoulder.
Gotcha. Lilith.
Lilith. That's right, Lilith. It's been a little bit.
It has
so
been,
My
yeah.
memory's a little lean, but yeah, I'm gonna be on there and yes manning behind it. That's right. Yes.
The hospitality was terrible.
Hospitality.
Hospitality. Yeah.
More like hostility.
Yeah. I got things to say about hospitality. A lot of things to say about hospitality.
As you're talking, Twiggy, from your vantage point, you do notice the captain's hand kind of gestures in a kind of a sweeping out, pointing, and both guards begin to move around.
We are
Kind of in that
absolutely
direction.
gonna have words with crap. Who's the main guy?
With crap. Which main guy? Sorry.
Alphonse.
Alphonse. We're absolutely going to talk to Alphonse about this because we are on a mission. And if you keep us from our mission, Alphonse is absolutely going to have words with you.
He kind of sighs, and this like kind of crooked smile crosses his face. He's like, "Yes, the magistrate can't help you."
You know what can help us? Do you know the spell Fireball? 'Cause I do. Do you know what happens when a fireball ignites? When it explodes, how big of an explosion that is? Do you? Because I do. I'm gonna cast what's the name of the spell? It's not Druidcraft, it is Fairy Fire.
Okay. Where do you want to cast
Is he
it?
engaging right now?
This might start engagement. Let's see. Where are you gonna center that?
Let's see here. No, wait, hold on. I think it will use Druidcraft. Just dart. The faint odor of a skunk. So we're gonna go with that like bat guano kind of smell. Like as if materials are being consumed for the spell.
Right.
Yeah.
Make a insight check.
An insight check.
Yeah.
So most insightful.
As you're kind of glancing at them to see if they're reacting to your should we call it trickery?
Sure.
Your shenanigans.
Shenanigans is right.
It doesn't seem like either guard really understands what's going on. Like they just keep moving forward. The captain does kind of like look up his nose at you, like he's trying to see, like he extends his neck a bit to see what you're doing. But other than that, you don't. They just kind of continue moving forward.
Well, looks like they're not going to be buying that one.
So Lilith, would you like this to be engagement? Are you asking if we can roll for initiative?
Hmm. I feel like it would be more fun to continue to insult them and see if we can just make them go away. Than just fight them. Anyone can fight them. I think I need to see how everybody feels about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of nod around, like, are we fighting? Are we just angry? Like, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I would rather get through this without fighting, but if we have to, I am definitely down to fight.
Okay. Okay.
With it having been a minute, can you remind me what all of your passive perceptions are, except for Lyra?
Mine is
15.
11.
Okay.
Passive perception. 12.
12. And Lilith, what was yours?
15 on
15. Much better. Okay.
I am
Lilith,
the
as you're
least
standing there,
perceptive.
so there are these like large stained glass windows that some of them are broken out, but a lot of them are still intact. And you do notice a couple of figures move by them in the broken out parts. You do see that they are wearing guard uniforms. It looks like they're heading towards the back of the building. So you do notice that, and you also catch that these two guards at the doorway are kind of glancing in every so often. So, says the captain, are you going to come quietly, or do we have to do this the fun
I
way?
assure your fireballs are not quiet. They're quiet after, but they're not quiet when they go off.
What kind of balls are these you speak of?
They're fireballs!
Fireballs.
You will definitely need a cream for this afterwards.
Oh man.
Oh, I haven't
Thoughts
had
that they're
fun.
frightened. You want to have some fun? Is that what I
Yeah,
heard?
I think fun would be good.
You think some fun would be good?
As you're deciding, this fellow gets to about there. This fellow is
Okay,
staying where
okay.
they are.
I would like to know why they're so frightened of us. So frightened that they have to have so many people surrounding the whole building and in preparation to pounce. Because, I mean, look at us. You know, we're musicians, we're teachers, we're inspirational community members.
But apparently you can't come quietly.
Apparently not.
He does reach behind him and pulls out some shackles and begins to walk this
I think
way.
that's a nah dog.
Nah dog.
Nah dog.
As he does that, this fellow steps in, and I should have put the doors on the map instead of making it part of the map. This door is now closed after he steps through.
Okay. And is that the only way? No, I guess straight back.
There is a
That
door
way's out.
that you haven't gone out of it, but there is a door in the back of the building, as well as the stained glass windows.
Okay. Well, I think Lilith does not like his attitude about this whole business.
Okay.
And we're gonna just start out with, say, Moonbeam, right
Okay.
at the door.
Right at the door. Let's
Right about there,
make a
or
circle.
like- Yeah, we're gonna. You know what? The moon is a magical thing here. To be revered.
And sorry,
And I'm
can
thinking-
you ping the point you wanted at again?
See.
All right, so
Right
there.
Yeah.
All right. So that would. This fellow is out of it if you're trying to hit him.
Oh.
Do you want to put it on him?
Yeah. Let's put it on him.
So it'll be there instead. And if anyone comes in through the door, they'll also enter it. All right, so you go ahead and roll your moonbeam damage. And after that is done, everyone click on their tokens and roll for initiative.
I don't think I have ownership of my token.
Where is my moonbeam initiative? Or my...
Well, that's weird.
For Pete's sake.
I'm gonna refresh the browser.
Oh yeah, I can't click on mine either. I will
Huh.
also refresh.
No, it's something
It's just
changed with
doing-
your token. That's weird.
Ah.
Sorry for that. There you go. And Lilith has control. All right, now can you move them?
It's loading. Hold on.
Did not mean to roll twice.
That's all right. I'll take your first one.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
But yes, I can move them.
Okay, awesome.
Initiative.
All right, so Dizzy's a 22.
I wanted to roll twice too.
Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that, but it does do that sometimes, where it'll duplicate a roll. Very weird.
There we go. Alright. I'm clicking all kinds of things. All kinds of jeepers.
All right, so
This looks
that poor
different than
fellow
before.
who just came to work on the wrong day,
well, you know what?
he needs to make a con save. Is that correct? Con save.
I don't even recall it.
Con. He's gonna
Radius,
fail that,
45.
so he'll take 7 damage. Looks like it got rolled a few times. The first one was actually 10 damage, so he's gonna take 10 damage.
Sorry about that. Got some.
Nothing to
Happy
be sorry
clickers going.
about at all. All right.
This poor guy. Well, and then while that's happening to him, I want to make sure that Lilith is like, all we're trying to do is come here to the community and teach good things, because you obviously have all kinds of problems and misbelief even going on. Like, you call yourselves loyal and you call yourselves good. I mean, this place is awful and people are horrible here. You gotta rethink, like, everything. What a mess. What a mess.
What
And, like, shake my head, like,
a
huge
mess.
disappointment, like mama, just with waggling finger, like, oh my god. Awful. You
So
can't even follow the gods right.
this guy shouts in pain as this moonbeam shows up, and there's this searing, and his skin kind of sizzles under his armor. Dizzy, what do you do?
So I'm going to cast
Oh, I forgot how.
Suggestion on the, I guess, the guy that is the leader. That's him, right? The buzz cut person.
Yep. And he needs to make what?
Wisdom. Hopefully he's
Wisdom.
not very wise. Well, that didn't work.
You do see like your words seep into him, and then he just kind of shrugs it off. Anything else?
I think I will use my bonus action and give Twiggy Bardic Inspiration.
Nice. Is that currently a D6 or D8?
It's a D6.
D6. Okay. Well, Twiggy, with it being your turn, what would you like to do?
Cast Fireball. And indeed, I will cast Fireball. I will Rage, while screaming Fireball. See what Rajay is. Four. Chaos. Well, oh, speaking of chaos, my sheet just crashed. All right, there we go. 4. 4 is a what? Magic Confusion is a weapon of my choice. All right. Some my force. It's a light and thrown properties. Yep, the rapier. All right. So I'm going to throw my rapier while yelling fireball at this asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. It gains prone. All right. So I will use my. How do I do this? It's been a while since I've done this kind of stuff. Where's the attack? There you are. All right. Rapier. Throw it at his face.
You throw it at him, and he just kind of like leans to the side, and it goes well off over his head and lands over here.
Well, that would have been way cooler. I believe it returns though. Where do I find the wild search? Sorry, I'm very unfamiliar with these with this particular program.
No worries. Why don't you figure out if it returns? But do you have any bonus actions or anything you want to do, or was that
Bonus
your rage?
action was the rage.
Okay.
And then throw the rapier at them.
All right. So while you're figuring out if it returns to you or not to Lilith, what do you do?
See here. Well, I mean, they should be upset, right? By all of this.
Yeah, they look a little upset.
Cool.
The captain
Cool.
is the calmest amongst them, but all of them are kind of
Yeah.
looks like they're
right.
getting ready to maybe do something.
You know, let's have some fun. We're gonna take the moonbeam away, and we're going to. We're gonna hit the captain with sleep
Okay.
and see if we can render him unconscious.
So that's concentration.
Uh-huh.
So Moonbeam goes away, and you're gonna roll 5d8, I believe. 23. Little bits of like sparkling sand or something kind of fall upon him, and he looks around and then back at you.
You're getting sleepy.
He doesn't seem as sleepy as you'd like him to be. There's maybe like a little crusty in his eye, but yeah, didn't seem to be enough.
Seems like maybe he sleep?
Right. Anything else? You still have a bonus action and movement.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, crying baby action. Could I do a sacred flame as a bonus action?
Can't, because it's not a bonus action. If
Okay.
your spell had been a bonus action, then you could have,
Yeah,
but
damn. Okay.
unfortunately not.
No, I think I still want to stay with these guys.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stay.
All right.
I don't know.
Sounds good. As the captain refuses to fall under the sleep, Helvetica moves towards him. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's just like, Captain, Captain Berengar, what is this? There's no need to get violent in the school. but it looks like she is being defensive. She's going to take the dodge action as she kind of plugs this open space between these two pews. All right. Well, the fellow that got lit up by that moonbeam begins, like, his flesh still sizzling. He glares at you, and like he tears off his helmet and throws it on the ground. And as he does so, you notice that his features are kind of shifting, and they're elongating. There's like some cracking noises as his face elongates and fur sprouts out of it. And I have to find the token. Sorry, I should have had the token ready. Dun 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 dun. Oh wow, where did I put that? Okay.
This explains a lot. Malnutrition. That should be our next TED Talk. And the benefits of sleep.
All right, there we go. And as he finishes, there is a furry fellow standing there instead of the guard. Looks something like a wolf, but maybe a little thinner, and is upright. And he runs forward and leaps up on this pew. Pew.
Does anyone have any dog treats? Quick. No.
All right. He gets there. Meanwhile, this one's going to move forward and takes his... he does not have this weapon. He has a short sword, but we will roll to see if he hits with it. Does a 19 hit?
Me?
Lilith.
Yes. A
Okay.
19 hits.
So that is going to be 5 slashing damage, or piercing damage, sorry, as he jabs you with his short sword. And then he pulls that out, looks up at Twiggy. Twiggy, you're still on her shoulder, correct?
Yep. And it does
And-
return.
He's going, okay, awesome. And he's going to take a swipe at Twiggy.
Bring it on.
16?
Nope.
You dodge deftly out of his way. Where is my other fellow? There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He moves up behind Dizzy and is also going to take a swipe at you with a long sword this time. But I'm assuming that 6 misses.
Oh yeah,
And does a 12 hit you?
it does not.
Knowing he's coming at you, you easily dodge his attacks. The captain, yeah, Helvetica's in the way, is going to move up and attack Helvetica. Hitting both times. But doing not as much damage. Excellent. All right. And then that should bring us back to Dizzy.
Okay, I will step away from this the guy next to me, and I guess take an attack of opportunity.
Okay, you're not going to disengage?
I am not.
Okay. He will swipe at you with his long sword. And will miss you.
Okay, and I will attack this person that Lilith is fighting.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that a 10 does not
The
hit.
10 does not hit. Anything else?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So you step away from the one, move over, and you go to hit the other guy, but you just kind of trip a little bit, and you look down, and there's a school book sitting right in front of that pew that you just it just threw you off enough to not hit that fellow. Twiggy.
All right. So that guy tried to hit me.
He did. This guy
Like that.
here.
Yeah, we're gonna throw that thing at him again. Yeah, that seems about right. Let's do that.
Are you throwing it, or are you gonna hit him with it?
Throw it. Why not?
Because you're technically
Oh, you're right.
there.
Yeah, well, the effects still do the thing. I'll hit him with it.
It would be at disadvantage if you're throwing it, is what I'm saying, because it's ranged.
Does a 15 hit?
Well, that depends. Are you throwing it, or are you trying to stab him
No, I'll
with it?
stab him. If he's right up top of us, then I'm gonna stab him.
Okay, a 15 does
Like-
hit.
Excellent. All right, so I do not get my rage bonus because I'm using a finesse weapon.
Gotcha.
But it is force damage.
Okay.
So we'll use 6 points of force.
6 points of force. All right.
Sure, there's nothing else there on that. I don't think so. Bang bang, stab, yelling. For the most part, I think that's it.
Yeah. So you lean forward and lower the shoulder, and you yell "Fireball" as you plunge your rapier into his there's like an area right below the armor, the gorget that he has on there, and you pull back, and there's a spray of blood. And Lilith, what do you do?
Well, let's see here.
This music is way too calm. We need some battle music.
I must think on this a moment. Let's see. I'd like to call on my light for all of us. And that is not necessarily an action. That's just a whenever I want to do that. So, I'd like to do that. And you know what? Since our buddy really liked Moonbeam so much, you know, let's hit him with Moonbeam. The one that's right up in our faces.
Okay.
Twiggy and I. Why did it go through twice? That's so weird.
So we're going to have to plant, for you to not hit anyone else, we're going to have to essentially plant it in that square. So once he's out of that square, he would essentially be out of it.
Yeah.
Do. All right, so he's going to take half damage. Is that correct? If he succeeds?
Yes, he'll take half.
Okay, so he's going to take 6 from your 12. And you can hear sizzling of his flesh under his armor, and like the little bits of blood that are kind of oozing out of his wound, or like hissing and smoking a bit. Anything else?
You know, and I'd like to step back.
Okay.
And Twiggy's still on my shoulder, right?
He is, which means the fellow in front of you will get an attack of opportunity on you, because technically you're forcing Twiggy's
Sure.
movement.
You know what? We'll keep it.
Okay.
We'll just, yep. And that'll do it. Unless I can do a mace swipe, but I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, not because your
Yep.
moonbeam was your action, right?
Yep.
All right. So you hear Helvetica talking to the captain. She's like, "You're not the captain, are you?" it's really hard to tell what's going on over there, but she is going to lunge forward and try and grapple him.
Ooh.
Against... Oh! Yeah, she, like, reaches forward and grapples him. It looks like he just kind of disappears behind her mask because she's so large. You don't see him over there right now. Meanwhile, this fellow is going to step down here and takes 2 claw attacks. Oh, sorry. He's going to take a 2 bite attacks on Dizzy. Does a 22 hit you, Dizzy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, actually, I apologize. They have advantage currently. So the 22 will hit, but they also critted on you.
Oh,
Oh
man.
no.
Yeah.
I'm not having a good time.
So the first one, like knowing that the creature's there doesn't prepare you as it like leaps forward and just like bites into your arm, because you were trying to stab the other fellow, right?
Yeah.
And so he bites that arm that you're holding your weapon in, and then rears back and just chomps down on you, like towers over you and chomps down into the like hollow between your neck and your shoulder, doing a total of 20 damage.
Oh yeah, that's no good.
Are you still up though?
Yeah, but barely.
Okay. The fellow here just took his moonbeam damage. He is not having that, so he's going to step out of it. And knowing that Lilith cast that, he's going to take his swipes at her. A 12 does not hit
Just
you,
jealous.
correct?
He's jealous.
Right. Does a 16 hit Lilith?
16 does not hit.
All right. So being prepared for it, you dodge easily out of the way. Let's see if you notice this fellow who has advantage on you. A 20 and a critical.
Oh god.
Does the 20 hit you?
20 hits.
All right, hang on one sec. As we switched that one to a long sword. Plus 4. You're gonna take 21 points. 21 points of slashing damage. The crits are coming today. Are you still up? Meanwhile, yeah.
Barely.
Okay.
Was a bad idea.
Be grand.
Meanwhile, Helvetica needs to make a save. She does make it. You're not really sure what happened over there. I believe that's all of them. Dizzy, what do you do?
I'm gonna move there.
Okay.
But I am going to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. So you will take attack of opportunity if you move there, just to remind you from that fellow.
Okay, I will not move there.
Okay. And so you're going to cast Dissonant Whispers on which one?
Actually, I'll cast it on the one that just took a chump out of me.
Okay, the one that is in its wolven form.
Mm-hmm.
So wisdom save, correct?
Yes.
That'll be a 20.
Oh my goodness.
But Dissonant Whispers should take half damage, correct?
Yeah, half, and they don't have to move, so
Okay.
I guess just 8. That's not much, but
8 damage.
yep.
It scratches, like, with its clawed hands. It reaches up and, like, kind of grabs its head and scratches at its ear, and you do notice, like, a little bit of fluid comes out of its ear. It does not look very good, but it is still upright. Anything else?
No, I don't think I have any good bonus actions.
Okay.
so-
Twiggy.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out, because the rapier is now considered light, so it's a light property thing. I don't know, can I also use my boomerang?
Like, as an
Switch.
offhand?
Yeah,
Or do you want to
Or-
swap them out?
or vice versa, where, because I don't have any uses for a bonus action at the moment, besides extra stabbing. So I can
Gotcha.
get another-
Yeah, you can extra, or you can bonus action offhand with your rapier.
Okay, and then I can use my main hand for the boomerang. yeah?
Correct. It would be at disadvantage because you're next to someone, but
Well, that's fine.
the stabbing won't be, though.
Just to make sure that I know what the. Okay, so we're going to first fireball the guy I fireballed last time with my, as a bonus action with my rapier.
Okay.
That is here. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
There you go. That's a thing.
That will hit.
5 points of force. Yeah, then I'll chuck the boomerang at the jackalware
Okay.
at disadvantage, correct?
Correct. Unfortunately.
See if that did that at disadvantage or not. Why aren't you roll? Do the thing I said. Ah, so mad. Okay.
And
so
roll
it's
one more time.
4, and then a boomerang. Oh, that's so
7.
good.
You throw it, and it just, like, because it's a boomerang, it like, and you just didn't quite do it right. It just, like, arcs off and shoots off over here.
On a miss, it returns to my hand.
Zoom.
Boomerangs! Yeah, just boomerang and stuff. Two-handed boomerangs with fireballs attached. Yeah, so that'll be attack and a bonus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay where I am.
Okay. Lilith.
I think we'll continue the moonbeam, but I think we'll move it to this guy behind us.
Okay. So if you move it there,
Yeah.
that'll get him.
Yeah.
So he'll go ahead and make a con save. 17. Which I think that beats your Moonbeam's DC, but he'll still take half damage from it, so... Lyra, while Lilith is rolling damage, go ahead and click... Wait, hang on, your token's not there.
Yeah, I was like, she's
I was
not
gonna
here
say,
yet.
click on your token, but you can't do that.
No, I can't.
All right. Do you see your token now?
I do.
So click on your token and roll for initiative.
Okay.
Ew. 3 damage. Halved. Down to an amazing... Well, I'll say 2. Halved to 2. All right. Helvetica. Actually, moving the moonbeam is a bonus action, isn't it? So Lilith still has an action. If Lilith happens to be there. If not, we'll take care of it after Helvetica's turn. I think Lilith has stepped away. Okay, so Helvetica picks up the captain and is going to try and slam him on the pew. So we're going to do opposed athletics. She does slam him on there. He's going to take some damage. Excellent. All right. Lilith, you don't happen to be back, do you?
I she went in the back.
Oh, maybe that's her coming this way. Ah, it's a baby. Lilith, I think you're moving the moonbeam was actually a bonus action, so do you have an action you want to do?
Let's do. I'm feeling a little physical. Let's just pummel him with a mace.
Okay. Which one?
Let's do the guy right in front. And
this one here?
yeah.
Okay. The 20 thing is definitely going to hit.
There we go. There's the hit. I'm clicking all kinds of things.
All right. There's a resounding crack as you like bring it upside his helmet. You see like a bit of blood fly out of his face mask, and I think that should take care of your turn. Bringing it to their turn, they're gonna duel up. The one that you just smacked turns and looks at you and is going to try and slash you with that long sword. Oh no! Very angrily just slashes across your midriff, and that the cloth of your like that goes over your stomach just like peels away as he crits on you, and then he slices back up. Does a 17 hit you?
17 does not hit.
Okay, that's good. So you're gonna take.
Now remember, we did Twilight Sanctuary too, so everybody should have a couple of added points, some temporary hit points.
Okay,
just
gotcha.
FYI.
How many is that?
Everybody.
So they can add that.
It's 1d6 plus 4, and that's for everyone in my party.
I'm just gonna quick roll that d6. So that means the 3 of you should have 7 additional temporary hit points.
Yeah. But as far as having my midriff showing, I knew he wanted me. I knew it.
So you'll take 12 slashing from that attack, and then this fellow is going to step out of the moonbeam and is going to try and take care of that strange little creature that's flying around your shoulder. Twiggy. So, does a 20 hit you, Twiggy?
20 does.
But an 18 misses, correct?
18 also connects.
Okay. So he's going to deal 16 slashing to you as he just manages to focus in on you.
Is that magical slashing?
It is not.
Oh, you mean he's doing 8?
That is what he's doing.
Yeah. gates.
This fellow is done with this. You hear some cracking noises as the captain turns into some kind of wolfish creature. And that should bring us back to Dizzy.
Alright, I am going to try to dissonant whispers the critter again that's next to me.
Okay. That will be a 2.
Alright,
So
so
he
15.
kind of shakes off the last one. He looks at you, slobber drooling out of his mouth and eyes glaring at you, and then you do it again and he just like twists and falls to the ground. Stops moving. But anything else?
No.
Okay.
That is all I want to do.
Twiggy.
Well, fireballs seem to be a way to do things. Sure that, yeah. So we're going to, as a bonus action, stab the guy in front of me.
Okay. That will definitely hit.
7 points of force. And then, so no, that'd be off. It's offhand. Hold on. 3 points of force.
Okay.
And then, as my regular action, we're going to boomerang at disadvantage. 1, 2.
The 9 is going to go wide again.
Ah, they're too close. Do some more raging. Ah, I'm so mad. Fireball. Yeah, that's me, I believe.
Okay. So about this time, Lyra, you're like walking up, and you notice that the doors to the schoolhouse are closed, and there's some guards standing in the street, and there's one guard that's kind of, he's facing out from the door, but every so often he kind of turns and like looks back at the door, like he's hearing stuff, but apparently he can't go inside or something. You're right where you are on the map now. What do you do?
Lyra is literally just going to walk past these guards like, hey guys.
Sure.
She doesn't know why they're there, so she'll come up to the door and she'll try to, push the door next to this guy. Like, she'll look at him and be like, okay.
So these two don't give you like the slightest, they're just kind of like hanging out. But as you walk up, this one definitely sees you and looks at you and he's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't let you in.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm going in.
No. By order of the captain of the guard, I can't allow you in.
The captain of the guard.
Yes.
Well, that's funny because he's not here.
Yeah, he's inside, ma'am.
No,
he's apprehending
not.
a dangerous
I
murderer.
just left him 10 minutes ago. He is not inside. So you should probably move.
No, whoever you think you saw was not the captain of the guard. The captain of the guard is inside. Did I just say the capital of the guard? I don't know.
Yep.
The captain of the guard is inside arresting a dangerous murderer.
Oh, the murderer! He's my friend. Thanks, he's inside.
What?
And Lyra is literally just going to push him and push him.
So let's do, you can do either an acrobatics or an athletics against his athletics. He's going to try and just stop you from pushing the door open. So you're aiming for a 16 or, well, you're aiming for a 17 or better.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Oh, you got an 11. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, that's okay.
He does manage to like kind of put himself in between you, and it's kind of awkward because he's like trying to not like touch you, but he's like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, you can't," and he just manages to put himself between you and the door.
Okay, Lyra's literally just gonna take her hand and put it right above his shoulder and be like, really? And like get really uncomfortably
Right.
close to him because she can see how much he really doesn't want to touch her. She's like, really?
So that
Either
would be
we're
your,
both going through that door or you're moving.
right. So that would be your action.
Yeah.
But you can do an intimidation for me to see what happens on
Okay.
his turn.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a intimidation, persuasion type of, like, because she kind of like smirks a little bit. It's like, huh, really? Okay.
So which?
Oh no.
Oh, we'll see how that goes. Lilith, inside. There are a couple of armored figures around you, a dead wolven figure next to Dizzy, and Helvetica seems to be wrestling with another wolven figure. What do you do?
Well, I guess it all kind of hinges. We have to backtrack a little because the last damage that I got would have been, because my armor's 18, but you're asking if a 17 hit. I said no, but there was still damage just because we were just talking about other stuff.
Oh, he attacked you twice.
He attacked me twice.
Right, and
then I am down. I'm
Oh.
down for the count.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I don't remember what this is on you for, so we're just going to take that off for now, and we'll put a red dot for unconscious.
Yeah.
Which means Moonbeam disappears, but at the start of this turn, you will make a death save.
Sweet. To this last time. Where do I
Oh, I don't remember. Let's see.
There's a little thing, it's like failure, success, and it has the little options, but I'm not seeing what I
have you set your hit points to 0?
Yeah.
Okay. It should be right next to your hit points, I think. Sorry, let me get over to D&D Beyond.
Dun dun dun.
And I can see what you're seeing.
There's the little.
Oh, okay.
There's
it came
usually
through.
like an icon that you hit for that.
Yeah, it looks like they changed it. Or
Yeah.
maybe I'm just not seeing it. Why does it say you have a failure? That's weird. You have 1 success because a 14 is a success. But not enough for you to wake up with a hit point. So we will move to Helvetica, who still has a hold of this woman figure. She's just gonna try and smash him again. So she's gonna do an athletics against his athletics. Yeah, not so lucky this time. Dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
It is your turn.
All right, I'm gonna move over there, and then I'm going to smack this guy with my rapier.
Sounds good. That will definitely hit.
Okay.
And
For 10 damage.
you take this guy out. What happens? How do you do that?
I think I would like to just stab him in the back, but I would like to puncture his heart.
Okay. So yeah, your rapier just slides through his, like, right next to his spinal column, pokes out of his chest, and he just kind of tries to look down, but his helmet doesn't let him, and then he slumps to the ground. Anything else?
That is all.
Okay. Twiggy. Lilith has collapsed to the floor, her moonbeam disappearing. You're not necessarily drugged down with her. You can like be flying in the air, or you can be on the floor where she landed. What do you do?
Yeah, I'll go from the floor and then launch myself upwards, at a diagonal towards that guy. We're gonna stab him first. I just had this open under actions, yes. Stabbing.
A stabbing of 18 will hit him.
Also, it'll be 5 points of force.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna chuck a boomerang at him at disadvantage. And I got
The
the other one roll.
I don't see it.
Do the thing. Oh, there it goes.
The 8 is gonna miss.
You had to think about it. Cool. Let's see here. Just because I'm keeping track in my head here. This is round 5, right? Or are we on round 6?
Of your rage, this should be round
Correct.
5.
5. Okay. All right. I'm on top of it. All right. Here we go. Enter. Insane.
Okay. So you fly up, jab him with your rapier, and you kind of like flit around him as you bring out that boomerang. You let go, maybe a little too early. It flies out, returns to your hand. Lyra.
Well, she rolled that nat 1 for getting real up close and personal with that guard.
Yeah, he sorry, I totally forgot his turn. Yeah, he just kind of stands in your way. He's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I need this job. But you can, as you're standing there, like, facing off with him, you can hear the sounds of combat inside.
Lara will try once more. She's not really moving. She's like, do you need your job or your life more? Because you're going to have to pick one.
But behind his visor, you can see his eyes, and they kind of widen a little bit. You could try intimidation.
Okay. Well, she could do that. She's just gonna be like, because I told you, my friend, the murderer, is in there. And she kind of like, her hand's on the door, right? She's like leaning closer. It failed, but she's gonna like say things to him, but also like kind of push a little too, like at the door to see if
it's kind of
goes.
like, I don't know if you've seen Night at the Roxbury. It's kind of like the scene, the dance scene where they're like just bumping off of each other because you're trying to open it and push past him, and he's trying to not like manhandle you, but try to keep you out. So you're just like bumping off of each other currently.
Yeah, she's gonna try one more intimidation before she resorts to more physical matters.
Sure.
Man, she's going through it today.
Yeah, apparently his job is that important to him.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
So that would be her action.
Do an intelligence check for me.
Just straight intelligence?
Yeah, we'll just do straight intelligence.
Save or check? Check.
Are you proficient in saves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead and do save.
Okay. Because she can't be charmed.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's not that. I might give you some information. Yeah. So like you're trying to get in the door, and then it dawns on you like there are windows along the edges, and you're pretty sure you saw a back door. So if you don't want to continue haggling with this guy, you could use your movement to move away.
Yeah, she'll kind of sigh, realize that like it's not worth it. This guy is not worth her time. Dizzy's already being charged for murder. She doesn't need to loop herself into that, you know. Because this guy hasn't attacked her, right?
Correct.
Like, it's not self-defense. It's not. So she'll just like.
In fact, he has his hand like resting on the pommel of his sword, but it's like sheathed.
Right.
He hasn't even drawn it.
Okay, so she'll kind of sigh and step away. So she came from over here, so she's gonna kind of sigh and just kind of walk, this way.
Okay. As you look down that way, you do see at the far end there is another guard. Let me throw a guard up there. Pew.
Okay.
He seems to be walking around the back, like his back is to you.
Okay. Yeah, Lyra only has 30 feet of movement, so I think that's pretty much as far as she can go.
Gotcha.
35 feet, yeah.
All right, Lilith, then. Why don't you make me another death save? Oh, Lilith's gone. That's all right. I had her sheet up, so I will make one. Oh, that's right. The thing is gone. Okay. In that case, I will... roll a d20 and roll 20.
She's back.
Welcome back. Can you make another death save? Or is that the one that you just made?
Oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So one success and one failure, which brings us to Helvetica's turn. Helvetica's kind of looking around at everyone while trying to hold on to this squirming wolf thing. She's gonna try and throw him. Oh. She essentially just drops him right there and moves over here, provoking an attack of opportunity upon herself. 17 will hit her, so she'll take 10. The creature snaps with his jaws, piercing like her upper arm as she rushes over and kneels down next to Lilith. She tries to like staunch the bleeding and more or less just like kind of pumps out some more blood from your body. Dizzy. So you see Helvetica kneeling there. There's one fellow that is currently kind of going back and forth with Twiggy. However, the captain has now shifted into what looks like kind of a wolfish figure, and looks like is gonna start heading towards the group momentarily. So you have two obvious foes, one downed ally, and two active allies. What would you like to do?
Let me see. I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers on that one.
Much better. Or rather much worse for him. Not really paying attention, all of a sudden he kind of cringes, lets out a little yipe. It's going to take 11 psychic. And it's his reaction, right? He uses his reaction to run away.
Let's see. It just says if available to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
Perfect. Let's see. Runs over to this corner. And like hits the corner and looks around, kind of shakes the effect off and looks back at the group, like very confused, not sure what just happened there. Anything else?
I think I will move
Okay.
to there.
Gotcha. All right. That brings us round to Twiggy.
Okay. We're gonna fireball him again.
Oh, son of a gun.
Worksheet, work. Boop. 16 hit him.
A 16 will hit.
Excellent. It does 6 points of force. Donk him with a boomerang too. Insult and injury. Come on, do the thing. But I don't think 11 hits.
The 11 will not hit. Sorry, I think I deleted the token that I rolled initiative off of earlier, and so they actually didn't go last turn.
Oh no!
No.
But they will go this turn, by gosh. All right, so that one's going to take 10 psychic.
It'd actually be 6 force.
Oh, 6
'cause
force.
I'm using it offhand.
And then the boomerang misses.
Correct.
Anything else?
No, just chaos.
Excellent. Lilith, go ahead and make that death save for me. Nice.
Oh yeah.
With a sudden surge of what the hell? You wake up. You have 1 hit point. Helvetica is standing over you, trying to push your blood back into you. It's kind of... You notice that she's kind of looking at it funny, like it's thicker and stickier than she expected. And you have your full turn, so what would you like to do? You are prone, so you have to, if you want to stand up, it's half your movement.
You're on mute, Beth.
Yeah. Can't hear you. I do feel like we could go through an entire turn of just watching her and like guessing what she's saying. You're muted, or your mic's not picking you up. One of the two.
Alright.
It could be
Well,
like
I
Mystery
immediately
Science
am gonna-
Theater.
Just add in voices for
Right.
me.
Just like in voiceover. It's
Badgers.
fine.
We don't need no stinking badgers.
Exactly. I'm immediately going to like kind of blink into Twilight Sanctuary for everybody.
Okay.
And for myself, just kind of like boing. And everybody's, glowing and like, ah.
Does that give them the temporary hit points?
It gives everybody the temporary hit points,
Okay.
including myself.
So re-roll that. And if this number, if you still have your temp hit points, if this number is higher than your old temp hit points, it will replace your temp hit points.
Excellent.
It does not go to Lyra because Lyra is outside.
Mhm.
Okay. Where is... I just had it. Twilight Sanctuary.
Nice.
So, okay.
So 6.
6. Love it.
Are you
And
giving
then-
that to Helvetica out of curiosity?
Yes, it's up to 6, and so it's any ally, right, or anyone that I choose.
Correct.
for that matter. Yeah, so she's gonna get that as well.
She kind of looks
Everybody
like
on-
at herself, and she's just like, "What's going on?"
Feels so good.
Right? Anything else?
Well, that I can just do because I am who I am. So I'm going to start my moonbeam again.
Okay. Where would you like to start this
And
moonbeam?
I would like it. Let's see. If it were like kind of over here, could it stay away from?
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Protect
put
us
it,
from it.
let me drop that in there, and then essentially, if you dropped it on this point, then it'll hit that fellow and not any of your friends.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good. Do. Calm serve. It does make it, but is going to take half damage.
I feel like it should have been the other guy I decided to do, but you know what? We're going to leave it.
I mean, technically, so like you're laying on the ground. There are all these pews in the way. There's people around you, and that guy is way in the corner. So it's likely you don't even know he's there because you were unconscious when that all happened.
Okay.
All right.
Do it.
Are you gonna stand up?
And no, I'm gonna continue to kind of lay down.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my head straight.
Gotcha. In that case,
I'm
Helvetica
gonna reserve.
stands. Actually, she like looks down at you. Are you okay?
Yes, barely.
And she looks up at the guy and just like tries to uppercut him as she stands up, but is gonna miss. He sees it coming. She's a large person. It's very easy to see her move. She swings wide, and it is their turn. Let me verify something. Okay. He can move back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dizzy, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ten.
10. So, like, he stops and turns around and looks at you and just, like, starts running towards you, kind of in a lope, like a humanoid wolf would do. And as he does so, you notice, like, you can't help but look at him, and his eyes begin to kind of shift. It's very strange, almost hard to, like, really understand what's going on, but there's, like, this hypnoticness to actually you might have advantage, or do you have drow have the same elven features as elves do, correct? It's too bad this fellow didn't know that, because he totally tried to use it on you. It feels weird and tingly. Nothing happens. You felt like maybe you felt a little like a little yawn escaped your lips, but whatever he was trying to do didn't work.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. This fellow. Dizzy, you're gonna get an attack of. Sorry, Twiggy, because he's going this way. Twiggy's gonna get an attack of opportunity as this fellow moves out of the moonbeam. But that's your total, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, not quite enough. He moves there. I'm sorry, Lilith. Looking down at you, he's going to take a couple swipes at you with his longsword. Does a 19 hit you? Technically, actually, the 19 would take you out with the 4 slashing because you only had... No, because you gave yourself temporary hit points.
I did.
So, after taking 10 damage, are you unconscious?
How much was the temporary?
I think it was 6.
6. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
moonbeam disappears again, and he's gonna move to there. So that guy went. Everyone else is dead. Lyra, you do notice the guy in the back walks around in the corner, which is off the screen. Dizzy. Let's see. You see that guy step in front of you as you're looking at the fellow who's trying to run towards you. More in periphery, you noticed that the one who's now in between you and the one who's trying to run you down did something, and you kind of glance down and you see that Lilith is once again unconscious. What would you like to do?
Alright, I'm gonna swing at the person that is right next to me with
Okay.
my rapier.
Sounds good. A 14.
Does a 14
A
hit?
14 will actually. Sorry, hang on one sec. The 14 will hit this fellow.
Okay. For 11 piercing.
So as he kind of backs in front of you and he looks up towards you, you just jam the rapier into what?
I'd say like into like the slit of his helmet.
And he kind of shakes for a moment, and as you pull it out, he collapses. Anything else?
I'm going to move over to Lilith. I don't know what I did with my character.
Oh, you're. I think it moved underneath. Do you want to go there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any bonus actions or anything?
So she's like unconscious, as in like gonna have to make death saving throws.
She is
or...
once again unconscious. Yep.
I'll give her bardic inspiration. I think
Okay.
that counts for death saving throws too, right? Or no?
I'll say yes for now until I remember otherwise. We can check that later, but I like it. All right.
Like singing her a song. I'm just like,
Right.
come on, Lilith.
So Lyra,
You can
outside,
do it.
as you kind of turn that corner, the broken windows, you can definitely hear the sounds of battle from inside, and you see that guy disappear around the corner. What would you like to do?
Lyra's gonna try to climb through one of the windows.
Okay.
Probably like one that's like not too close. Like she wants to get out of view of the guards who are like up here, right? So she'll kind of.
So it'd be another one. You could dash to one here.
Could you mark that again? Sorry. Yeah. She'll probably dash to that there
Okay.
and then try to climb through the window.
Do you have your bonus action dash as the rogue yet?
Yes, I do. I do
Okay,
have cutting
so you
edge.
can use your action because you'd move, you'd bonus
Mhm.
action, then you could use your action to climb through.
Correct.
It kind of takes you, it's going to use 15 feet of movement to get through. It's easy to pull yourself up onto the ledge that the window is in, but it's like
Okay.
only partially broken, so you kind of like have to kick out part of it and then move through. So you would have
Okay.
15 feet of movement left as you drop down on the other side. As you enter into the schoolhouse, you do see there's a furry kind of woven humanoid figure that is heading towards the group, who's kind of clustered around themselves, and you see some bodies laying around them. Lilith seems to be unconscious from like you would have saw that just before you jumped down, and then the pew kind of hides her. Well, and
Okay.
Helvetica's very large form. But you have 15 feet of movement left. What would you like to... Do you want to use that, or do you want to stay where you are?
Shouldn't I use it to come this? Wait, I feel like my map is missing a few tokens. I don't know if I have the captain still on my token on my map.
You see the furry figure here. You don't see the captain.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a token for him there. I don't know why.
I know why.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, as Laura is kind of jumping down in the other way, she just kind of goes, "Oh, what the?" You know, she's just like, "Come on, guys." She's like, "I leave you alone for 10 minutes."
Right?
And she is going to take 15 feet of movement towards diagonals halved, right?
No, not in 5th edition.
No. Okay. I've never. Sorry, my cat is trying to climb into a box. She does not.
I mean,
She's not allowed in.
cats.
She's going to
Cat's got a
take
cat.
15 feet of movement. 5, 10, 15. I think would put her here towards the captain.
Okay. All right. Twiggy, you see Lyra climb through the window. Like, you see her, like a shadow shows up outside, kicks down some of the glass panes, and Lyra climbs through, drops down, looks at all of you and shakes her head. You hear some muttering about, "I can't leave you alone for 5 minutes without getting in trouble," and then they head off this direction. What do you do?
I'm gonna flit to here. 10, 15, 20. Yeah, it's perfect. 20 feet. And I'm gonna chuck a rapier at him.
Okay. That'll
15
hit.
Excellent. It's 8 points of force. I'm gonna chuck a boomerang at him. Where?
That'll hit. The first boomerang hit of the game.
I know. I've been trying so hard. If I fits, I said. For 6 points of boomerang damage.
Okay.
This is round 9, correct? Or is it 8?
Think you are correct.
Round 9. Okay. Yeah. So chuck that boomerang. Throw that that rapier.
Anything else?
Get him back. Strike a pose. Yeah. Glitter everywhere. And that's it.
Okay. Lilith, being unconscious, would you like to make a death save? Nice. That is 1 success. Helvetica. Well, knowing that she didn't do much help for you earlier, she turns and is going to put herself in between this creature and the rest of you, except for Lyra, because she can't be in 2 places, but she blocks this area and dodges. So the figure stops as Helvetica like runs up to it. He kind of slides to a stop, and he looks at all of you and all of the dead people on the floor that once were on his side, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the front door. Helvetica is going to try and wallop him, and she will wallop him. Excellent. He opens the door. You hear... Oh, did you go, "Oh, what the hell is that?" And then he runs outside. So this door is now open like it is on the map. And it is Dizzy's turn. Dizzy, you don't see anyone moving. Lilith Lilith is unconscious, but doesn't appear to be spurting blood like she was. You don't think she's stable, however. Lyra is here. You're not really sure how that happened. You didn't see it, but Lyra's standing over there. And the creature just ran out the front door. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to help stabilize Lilith.
Okay. That'll be a medicine check. 10 is what you need. You kind of move her clothing around so that you can like really get a better look at it, and you pack some gauze down in her wound to stop her from bleeding. Lilith, you are stable but unconscious. Lyra, you have entered in. That wolfy looking fellow ran out the front door. You heard the guard that you were talking to earlier scream. You can actually see the guard kind of stumbling back from where the wolf figure moved out of. What do you do?
Okay, Lyra is going to kind of give a nod to everybody else, and she's gonna kind of... Are there windows at the front of the schoolhouse too?
There are normal windows here.
Okay.
And here. They're like smaller.
Yeah,
they're just kind of a...
yeah. But they're not the big like stained glass.
Correct.
Like, old windows. Gotcha.
You feel like you
Lyra?
could crawl through them if that's something you want to, or if you want to shoot through them, you can absolutely do that.
Okay. Sorry, doing math. Lyra is going to dash to the window, right?
Okay.
So that she can see where the hell
Yep.
this wolfish creature is going.
Yeah.
Right.
So you see them right there. It looks like they're running off to the left on the map.
Okay.
And it looks like the guards are all like, what the heck?
Okay. Is there any way she can intercept this thing in time, or is it gonna outrun her? If she were to like kind of like try to jump through the window.
You would have to use essentially your dash movement to get there.
Right. Okay. Yep.
You would.
And then-
It would put you in melee range, which means that if it continued on, you would get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, she's gonna try to jump through the window to be like, hey, like, you know, like, where do you think you're going?
Yeah, it's so you could just like slide the window up and then
Yeah.
jump through, and
Yes.
you technically have like 10 feet of movement left after you get there. You're now engaged at that point.
Yeah. No, she's just gonna kind of say like, yeah, I'm trying to do math too. I forgot that you can measure. I'm like, I always forget that you can measure. Math is the worst. Yeah, she's gonna, you know, be like, hey, you know, and kind of stop this thing from running away.
Yeah. All right. Twiggy, you saw Lyra open the window and jump out. The door is now open. You don't see anybody else in here that seems to be a threat to you or your friends. What would you like to do?
All right. Well, the hunters afoot. 5, 10, 15. To go out a window to see where we're gonna wind up. Yeah. So we're gonna throw ourselves out here. And how is the lighting out here? It's pretty bad, isn't it?
So it's morning, but
it's
it's overcast. So it's an overcast morning.
Excellent. The guards look surprised, right?
Yeah, all of these guards are like fumbling to get their swords out currently,
I will call
and they're
out to
not
them
looking
that
at you at all.
The hunters afoot. And that's all I can do. To move, and that's a action. I don't think I can attack my bonus unless I've already attacked with my main hand. I believe correct. So that will be that. End of my rage.
Okay. Lilith is unconscious. Go ahead and make a charisma check, Lilith.
See here. Good gravy. Did that come through?
Got a 4. In your mind, like you're unconscious, you're just kind of floating. There's like a little bit of mist around you. It's not really all that bad. Kind of feels comforting. Nothing too exciting going on. Helvetica looks at all of you being the two of you and the growing stains of blood or pools of blood that are oozing out of the fellows that are dead. She's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and is gonna dash out the door. Getting there. As she runs by the guard, she's all like, "Stop that creature, whatever it is!" All right. Lyra, you see the creature look at you as it kind of like slides, not quite to a stop, like it looks like it's going to continue on, and its eyes begin to like kind of shift around in this like most disturbing way, almost hypnotically. But then it like squints them and it turns towards Twiggy. Twiggy, I need you to make a wisdom save.
Well, does it know that I'm a fey creature?
It doesn't appear to.
Clearly not. Hold on, let me make sure that I understand this resistance is here. I think there is a resistance somewhere in there. What the fuck would that be? I'll go ahead and roll the save while I look for this thing.
Whew. Well, if you were not... if you can be put to sleep by something, you're definitely asleep. If you have the can't be put to sleep by things that elves do...
I don't think I have a resistance that doesn't look like it. You would think that elves coming from,
Right.
the Fae, that the OG people would have that, but
It's in your
Right.
name!
it's in my
Fairly!
name. Yeah, right.
So, Lyra, you notice that as it glares at Twiggy, Twiggy kind of like does this like little like, "What?" and then just falls to the ground in a poof of glitter. Twiggy, you are unconscious, but you are not. You're stable and you are still at the normal hit points.
Excellent.
So we'll do a blue marker on you for that. That's all of the bad guys. The good guys that are now outside. This fellow draws his sword and moves forward in front of him and is all like, "Stop!" 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He moves up there, and that poor fellow is still trying to draw his sword. Yeah, he does have movement. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lyra, you get an attack of opportunity
Okay.
if you'd like to take it. You don't have to.
Yeah, Lyra's gonna take it. She is. How tall is this thing? Like how big? Like is it like human size?
Yeah,
or is
it's
it
human size.
smaller than? Okay.
The way it kind of like lurches down, it's because you're short, right?
She's like 5'8".
Yeah, it's actually a little like the way it kind of hunches. It's a little shorter than you, but like when it pulls
Okay.
itself upright, it's taller than you.
Oh, okay, gotcha. She's going to take one of her daggers, and she's going to try to, like, maim this thing even more. Is this thing already hurt? Like, does it appear hurt?
It does
she
appear
doesn't
to
really
have been
know.
hurt. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's like some
she's
blood
like,
on its fur and such.
okay, she's not trying to kill it. She's honestly just trying to, like, make it pass out, or
Sure.
like, you know, make it pass out from pain, whatever. She's not trying to kill it because, like, ooh, what is this thing?
Yeah.
She wants to know.
Okay.
So she's gonna take one of her daggers, and kind of go for that. Maybe like in the side or like the arm or like, you know, something that's like not deadly, but you know,
Ooh, that'll hit.
enough to hurt. Okay, and then. And since Twiggy and Helvetica are nearby, I believe she gets her sneak attack too. If she doesn't want to kill it though, so she's probably not trying to use that much force.
Right. So Twiggy's wouldn't be in range for it, but this guard is. So I will give you the
Right.
sneak attack.
Okay. And she's not trying to kill it. Just making it very abundantly clear. So like, she might try to like just be like, "Hey, cut it out."
Yeah.
You know?
So you like slash at its leg to try and like slow it down or stop it.
Yeah.
It does like your blade sinks in and leaves a mark, but it does continue on.
Okay.
As it does so, it just kind of like scoops Twiggy up and is carrying Twiggy off.
No, that's a hard nope.
One of us! One of us!
Lyra is just internally marveling at the fact that she woke up from feeling like she was being chased, and now she's apparently doing the chasing.
Right.
Because she will use her movement to chase after. I'm like,
All right, so Dizzy, people are running out of the building. You're not really sure what's going on out there, but you definitely hear a little bit of that kerfuffle going on. What would you like to do? You're pretty sure you're pretty sure Lilith is stable.
Oh. Okay, I think I'm gonna dash out.
Okay.
When I think I can get about there.
So it's not quite chaos when you get out there, but obviously these guards are all like, "What's going on?" And this guy's the one directly to your right there is trying to like to your left as you run out, but on the screen to the right, he's like fumbling trying to draw his sword. These two over here have their swords drawn and seem to be like facing the creature as opposed to your friends. Helvetica is running after it, and it looks like Lyra is also about to run after. You don't see Twiggy. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna look around and see if I can find Twiggy.
Gotcha. I guess you don't have the dash thing, do you? Or the dash, because you're a bard and not a rogue.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
get dash as a bonus action. so-
Gotcha. Go ahead and make a perception check, though. See if you notice Twiggy.
Hard to miss.
But with a 3, he is... You don't see him. You see, like, over kind of by where Lyra is standing, you notice like a little, not pool, but just like a smear of glitter on the ground is the only sign of Twiggy that you notice. That should bring us to Lyra then.
I forgot I was on mute. Okay, I mean, this thing seems speedy, but Lyra is also speedy. So she is going to chase this thing and, try to at least catch up enough to, like, grab Twiggy. Like, just, just, like, It's not,
Gotcha.
like, this point she doesn't care about stopping him so much as like stopping him from stealing Twiggy.
So you want to use your movement to catch up, and then your action essentially to kind of grapple Twiggy and pull him away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's have you do an athletics check
Okay.
against it's either athletics or acrobatics to keep a hold. It's gonna do. Oh, nice. So it needs a 23 or above. Let's see.
Yes.
Wow.
Nope, not gonna do it. Yeah, you just run up and it doesn't even notice you. You just kind of like Naruto run up next to it and just like scoop Twiggy out of its hand. At that point, it realizes you're there and it just like puts that hand back down to running. So you are here with Twiggy in your hand.
Yes.
So that'd be your action. You have a bonus action. Is there anything you want to do with that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think that's her turn. She's gonna kind of just like. She realized like could she continue to chase after this thing? Yes, but like that would mean leaving, unless Helvetica and Dizzy and Lilith is able to get up, like she'd run off and split them up again. And Twiggy's asleep apparently.
Yeah.
So she's like, ah. She takes a couple steps, like she wants to keep chasing after this thing, and then she like realizes and thinks better of it, and it's just like she'll just try to watch to see for as long as she can where this thing goes.
Okay. Sounds good. Twiggy, you're sitting around with your siblings and you're like, but Mom, why are elves immune to sleep but we're not? I don't understand. And she's like, I don't understand it either. I mean, we're fairies. Fae is in our name.
Yeah, like Dragonborn, they don't even get dark vision. What's with that?
Lilith, make me another charisma check. So as you're kind of like in that like calm, misty dream, you get this feeling like something is watching you, and it feels familiar, like it's watched you before, but yet it's like completely alien to you. Like it doesn't feel welcoming or pleasant in whatever manner. Helvetica. She's going to move up here. She'll dash and get to here. And looks at Twiggy and Lyra's hands. Is he okay?
I was just gonna be like, he slept off worse.
Excellent. All
She
right.
just kind of give, when Helvetica asks, she kind of just like, like you poke like a sleeping kitten that's just like dead, or like, like when you can like lift up an animal's paw and it just goes. Like,
Right.
She kind of does that to Twiggy, just a little bit, just like, yeah, he's fine.
So you will technically get an attack of opportunity, although you're holding. I guess you could be holding Twiggy in one hand and your dagger in the other, if you want to take a swipe.
No, she really doesn't want to kill this thing.
Okay.
Like she really doesn't want to.
Then it will. 4. It runs over there, and it'll be 40 feet off the screen. Yeah. Is there anything that any of you want to do? So it's Dizzy, it's your turn. It's running away. It seems like everyone's kind of like, what do we do? Lyra kind of has this body language, like she wants to run after it, but she isn't. And Helvetica is stopped over there. Is there anything that you want to do to try and stop it? It is...
I don't think I would be able to catch it or do anything, so no.
Yeah, it's 115 feet away from you right now. So if you have any kind of like spell effect or something that could reach it, otherwise, yeah, I think it's going to outdistance you, or you're going to at least be in that range of it if you chase it down.
Yeah, I think the farthest distant spell that I have only goes 60 feet. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, with that, you notice that there's like kind of a crowd out here. They were kind of, some of them were walking by the guards earlier when you walked up, Lyra, but like after the creature burst out, like everyone's like off away from the building and kind of watching all of this. Some people are standing up from behind crates or like looking around corners of buildings across the street, as everyone kind of takes in what just happened. What do you all do?
Lyra's first reaction is when she sees all this, she's like, inside, now. She's like, now. And she like kind of includes the good guys guards too. Okay.
Right now. Yes, ma'am. Okay. They'll follow you all inside. Helvetica kind of watches it run off and then follows you in. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I'll go inside too.
Okay.
I was just pretty much very much like, we should not be hanging about. They already don't like us. Just get inside.
Helvetica looks at everyone and closes the door behind her. I'm sorry. I wish I had pastries or something for everyone, but you're all welcome to have a seat. Maybe we should do something about the bodies first. And as the guards are kind of like looking at the bodies, two of them which are still looking like guards, one of which looks like the creature just ran out the door, Helvetica kind of sighs and walks over and starts like, trying to move them out of the way. And we'll call it good there for this week. Any questions? Okay. Well, if you're watching live, thanks for joining us today. Come back hopefully next Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully we'll all be back then. And this will be live on YouTube probably this weekend. I always say Saturday and then there's times I forget, but I've started like auto setting it up so it goes up even if I forget. So good to see you all. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.